Thank you, everybody, for tuning in and listening in wherever you are. We appreciate you. This is Pops Culture presented to you by Legacy Leaders. Change the man, change generations. This is what we do here. I got another special guest, my guy David, and somebody that is one of those guys that was just destined to be in your life, and you know it the moment that you guys link up. And the vibe is extremely strong. All I ask for listening to this podcast is that you enjoy it and share with one to two other dads that you know, and let's keep this thing building and growing. So let's get to it, man. David, what's
Yeah,
up?
beautiful intro.
You know, you know,
Yeah. Not much, man. I just kind of like you, put my kids down
yeah,
and then have maybe 5 minutes to breathe. And then I'm really glad we're doing this just to catch up, but also like talk about some real dad stuff.
yeah. Hey, just to give everybody context, like we're doing this at like 10 o'clock at night right now.
Correct. Yeah.
I want to actually give out that context. Like, are barely
Yeah.
open right now, but that's okay because this is what this is about, right?
Yeah. Bro, we were at Disneyland yesterday, bro.
Oh, I love the wives. Completely
I'm
forgot
wa-
that.
yeah.
Oh, you're wise.
No, but it was fun. Those are the days. Those are the days that, the kids remember. So have
Yes,
to do it.
yes. How many times did you go to Disneyland as a kid?
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Like maybe once or twice.
How many
Yeah.
times have your kids been to Disneyland? Like all this.
Like 20, 30 times. Yeah, dude. Yeah, it's like
You
it's like
know?
a multiple of 10x, yeah. But that's
You
why we
see?
do it, right?
Thank you.
We can't feel sorry for like, oh, I didn't have this or I didn't have that. It's like we work hard so that we can give them especially if your parents are immigrants. Like my parents are immigrants. I
Same.
feel like they essentially sacrificed, their entire adult life for me. And
Yeah,
now I get to be someone who's born from here, someone
yeah,
who's educated here, and then just everything, dude. Like even being able to eat at restaurants, going to theme parks, being able to speak to my kids' teachers like in the
yeah.
same language and like advocate. Like they can't pull anything on me, because like I speak the language. Like so,
That's
it's cool,
crazy.
man. Being a dad it kind of like it heals everything from before, and it also allows you to like look into the future with a lot of optimism. Yeah.
That's deep. That's deep. That's deep. Speak
That's
on
what
that
it's been
some
for
more
me.
though.
That's what it's
Yeah,
been for
speak
me.
out, but like elaborate on that because I agree 100%. But I have
Yeah.
like my own experience, my own opinions as to why that's the case. But I kind of
Yeah.
want to before I touch on that for me, I want to hear from you, like
Yeah.
what that actually means for you.
Yeah. I definitely want to hear your stuff too, because you've brought it up like, in person a couple times, but I
Yeah,
don't think I ever heard the full thing. For me, it's like I grew up in a loving home. My parents did have some disconnect when I was in elementary school. So they did actually separate for a brief couple years.
yeah,
Um, and then things worked out for us because, they actually ended up back together and we were back to being a nuclear family, which is like huge, right? Like just having two parents, you already won the lottery. Um, but I don't know that, well, A, they were immigrants, and then B, they were so busy kind of like trying to survive and like help us to survive. I never had like a strong emotional connection with my dad.
yeah,
And it's not, and that's fine, it's like I'm not gonna cry about it. But
no,
as I become an adult, I realize like uh, I think about what I had slash what I didn't have, and I just want to be that adult that I wish that I had, the ideal adult.
yeah,
I do that in parenting and I do that in my work. I'm a school counselor. I work at a high school like 25 minutes from here. And so like whether it's I'm the counselor that I wish I had or I'm the parent I wish I had, it's like I guess that's what being an adult like looks like for me. Yeah. And then seeing my kids like benefit from that is like I don't know. Like that's why I live with so much like a big ass smile on my face. Like
yeah.
I don't know what else can I ask for. I maybe some more money, sure, but
Right.
everything else is just toppings. Yeah.
That's beautiful, man. because I wholeheartedly agree. So like my father's from Nigeria.
Yeah.
So like same thing that you're talking about as far as like the emotional connection, that was never there.
Mm-mm.
Like it's just it's very stoic and patriarchal,
Yeah.
and what I say goes. Um, and it's a little fear based, to be honest with you. Like
Mhm.
I would never like I was so scared talking back to my dad. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like it was just kind of like my dad's talking, my dad's like you always could feel my dad's presence in the room. If my dad's in the house, everyone in the house knows that my dad's home.
Is he a physically big dude like you? No.
No, no, I was my dad's size when I was like 14.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
you know, and it's but the thing is like he still to a certain degree still has a certain effect on me. Like even as a grown adult with kids, when I go to my dad's house, I go visit him. It's like,
Uh-huh.
good morning, sir. Good afternoon, sir. How are you doing?
Sorry, sorry.
Yeah,
Wait,
like
how's he with your kids?
nothing like he was with me.
Oh yeah.
Like like those memes of like I don't know if you ever seen those memes of like how like grandparents are with their grandkids versus how they were as parents. That's
Oh
one
yeah.
hundred percent my dad. Like my dad is, and I have all girls, so I have three girls. Like my dad is complete mush. Like they I thought my girls melted me down. Oh,
Uh-huh.
they got him into a that's funny. They got him into like a whole like I don't even recognize it. But I love it though. Like I
Yeah.
love seeing how he is with my daughters. Like I love it.
You know
I
what?
love it. I don't even feel like any animosity. I'm not
No,
jealous of it. Like
no jealous.
because how he was with me, even though I took the things that I wish I had and applied that to how I show up as a parent, I still
Right.
don't regret anything that I experienced with him because it made me who I am today.
100%.
Right. So it's like understanding
Yeah.
that at the end of the day, if you are truly aware and observant and
Uh,
reflective, you can learn just as much from negative things as you can from positive things.
uh, possibly even more from the negative
Right?
things.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
And,
when you have that perspective, you never
yeah.
have losses, you just have lessons.
Yeah.
So it's
That's
almost
right.
as if I'm always winning.
It's auto. Exactly. Yeah.
I'm always winning. Like I can't lose
There's
because
no lose.
there's no lose. Like if I take a
So you'll
loss,
perspective your way out of it.
thank you. I'm like, okay, well, what could have gone better in this situation? And I apply that to. I'm at a point where I start to apply that to everything in life. I feel like I'm
Yeah.
always looking for either the root of why something went wrong and how I can fix it, or
Yeah.
looking for how something can be better. Right. So it's
Yeah.
like, and I'm always super aware of everything of how I show up in this space, how that influences other people, how I can make the environment better, how I can make myself better, how I can make every aspect of my life better. Like I'm in that place right now. And that's really what
Yeah.
legacy leaders is about too, is like that pursuit, especially as a family man, which I feel like is the most important place to apply that mentality, is how can
Yeah.
I be the best version of myself in everything that I do?
And with your dad, it's like, you could have gone the way where it's like, oh, you feel bad for yourself because like he
Yes.
was such a hard ass. But then when you, like you said, you're observant, self-aware, and a little bit of empathy, you realize, he's coming from a situation too.
Yes.
He was once a teen, a young adult, and he has his own stuff, as does my father. I
Hmm.
look at his dad, and objectively, my dad's dad was not a good man. Objectively,
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll just be
No, I
honest.
agree. I feel the same way.
So the fact that I had as patient and gracious as a dad from that person is like I feel still like I grateful for it. Like there's still you can still be grateful. Yeah.
You know what's funny? When my when I had my first kid,
Mhm.
right? My first kid was born,
Mhm.
and my first kid was born at a birthing center. And so, like, my other two were actually born in the living room. So there was no, like, transport. Like, we went straight from the living room to the bedroom. But,
Oh,
like,
okay.
my first one was in a birthing center. And so I had that experience of, like, taking the baby in the car, right? Driving home. right? And then getting home and being like, oh my God, like we have this baby. Like there's no manual, there's no nothing, and we're just supposed to be responsible for this life that's going to turn into a full human being. And the first thing that hit me was my father. In that moment, the first thing I thought about was my dad. And the reason why was because I had been putting my dad on a pedestal for so
Yes.
long in my life, right? And there's so many
Right.
things I was angry about and like all this like emotional
Sure.
stuff that I had because it was like he's my dad, right? And it
Yeah.
was like there was this like superhero complex that he was supposed to fulfill that
Right. And you put that
how
on
I
him. You
viewed
put
him.
yeah.
Yes. But then when I took my kid, when I took my firstborn home, I was like, oh, just like that, I'm a dad and nothing about me changed. Like
Bro.
I'm the same person I was 24 hours ago. I
Oh
just have
yeah.
a kid. And so that
That's it.
immediately made me humanize my father and realize, oh wow, my dad actually did the best that he could with what he had. And actually his experience of being a father to me was significantly better than what his experience of his father was to him.
Mm-hmm.
But yet I was complaining and being like, why don't you do it? Like, and he was
Yeah.
probably looking at me like, what's wrong with you? Like, like it started to make sense to me of like why he kind of responded to certain things in a certain way was because it was like, if the only example that he had was what he had with his dad, then how he was with me, he already won.
Yeah.
But I couldn't put that into context because it's like, okay, you're just a kid growing up,
Yeah.
and especially in America too, you also see how like, my American peers are with their fathers, and it's just the culture is just so different that like it
That's
really
probably
is.
what made it
That's also
harder.
another thing that makes it harder. Exactly.
What
Like
makes
if
it
I had grew
harder?
up in Nigeria, I feel like I would have seen it in
But
a
yeah.
better perspective. But
Yeah. 100.
but being first generation here and then
Yep.
seeing like my American counterparts and then seeing that, I feel like that
Yeah.
made it not spoiled to a certain extent, but like there definitely was a certain level of like extra entitlement.
100. But what's cool about being like us, like first generation, is we can because there is a lot of value to the way Nigerian immigrants parent. There is a lot of value to the way like Korean immigrants parent. So like taking the good from there and then also kind of peeping what the whites do, the
Yeah,
white
yeah,
Americans, they do some stuff good too, right?
yeah,
So kind of getting the best from both. And then I think that's how me and you are kind of doing our parenting, like
yes.
um, we give our kids a lot of like independence and autonomy, but we're not gonna let them slide on like the bullshit. Like we'll
Hmm.
smack them if we have to type of thing, and not smack them, but you know what I mean. Like we'll
Oh, trust me, bro. I pop my
yeah,
kids. I'm not gonna
no,
sugarcoat
yeah,
it. This is my
yeah.
podcast. I don't give
Hey,
a
don't
shit.
post this.
Yeah,
Don't
like no,
post this.
I don't care.
Smack.
They can post it if they
Yeah,
want to. Like, listen, I'm like, yo, the gentle parenting is cool and all. Like, I'm not against gentle parenting. I'm definitely not for physical abuse. That's for sure. Like,
no, for
I
sure.
don't condone physical abuse. However, because of me, I'm able in a place like you said I'm able to see the good and bad of both.
Yeah,
Like I think there was some we all understand the bad, right? Of like
for
getting
sure.
your ass beat. But then we
Yeah,
also know that there was some good in that too, right? Versus like when I look at some people who are like super hard on gentle parenting,
It's in the Bible,
the
bro.
thing I'm like, hey, but like when I see some people who are like super hard on the gentle parenting, I'm like,
Yeah.
I can see some of the bad stuff too. And I'm like, I think that there has to be like a balance here. And so
Hmm.
and that's where you start to create your own philosophy as far as like what works for you and your kids and obviously like your partner and make sure that you guys are all kind of on the same page and working towards a common goal of raising these kids. But for me, I think one of the biggest rules I have is I never ever discipline my kids out of emotion.
Hmm.
Like I'm never gonna hit my kid because I'm angry or because I'm irritated or because I'm upset.
Hmm.
Never. And by starting off with that principle, it
Hmm.
eliminates so many things that I feel like went wrong on the like ass whooping side, right? Because
Yeah.
there's some ass whoopings that I got, that were coming from like I'm stressed at work, I'm tired, and my kid's
Hmm.
not listening, and like I've passed my bandwidth, and then I'm as a kid I'm getting all that, right? Whereas like my approach is like, no, I'm trying to actually discipline you in the point of I'm trying to guide you and coach you on how to become a fully functioning adult that's an actually good human being. And so it's like, okay, I'm just trying to course correct behavior. And
Yeah.
it's never my first option. It's not even my second, usually not even
Right.
my third. So it's like I'm talking to you and I'm always trying to talk and I'm always trying to communicate. I'm always trying to explain versus it
Yeah.
just be like, hey, just do what I said. I'm going to explain like, hey, this is what you're doing. This is why it's not okay. This is what I would like to see from you. Right. And then cool, you do it again, you do it again. At this point, it's like, okay, now I constantly have talked to you and talk to you, talk to you. I'm saying,
Right.
hey, yo, like, listen, like, all right, like,
I'm not gonna lie, that's a great
don't
principle.
forget I'm Nigerian.
Yeah.
Don't,
Yeah, just so you're just to remind you.
you know, like,
Yeah. No, that's a great rule. I would love to say that I've done that myself, but there have been moments, to be honest with
it's
you, I'll
hard.
say is like, dude, there's been moments where I do snap. I
Yeah.
never turn around and like slap him, but
No,
like
no, no, but it's
there are
hard.
moments where I just lose it, you know? And
Yeah.
I just scream at him and it's not effective for him or me. I always
Yeah.
apologize. I'll give myself that. I do apologize very like frequently with him, but it's hard to I think the thing about parenting is you don't realize how it makes you approach all your physical limitations.
Yes.
Like cuz you sleep less, you have less time to work out and like do all that like wellness stuff like we still do. I know you do for sure, but like we still do that stuff, but not to the extent that we really want to do it. Like if I had it my way, I'd be like playing basketball 3 times a week, like
So
you know what I mean? Like doing all that from college, but we don't. And so our barometer is just like thinner, not an excuse, but yeah, I've been better, but I have definitely lashed out. And if any dad like hears this and like promises to themselves like, "Oh, I'll never lash out," but they do, like it's okay. Like kids are
yes.
resilient. Just
Yes.
apologize and just be better. Like it's
Yeah.
not that deep. Like, you're not gonna traumatize your kid off one blow up. Like um yeah. And then them seeing you fuck up and saying sorry is huge.
I
Yeah.
literally just had a post about that.
Yeah.
Talking about
You,
like
you had to say sorry about something I was saying.
no, no, I had a post on Instagram where I was shedding light on that specifically, right? Of like our kids don't need us to be perfect. And if anything, I feel like us trying to hold that image of perfection is actually more detrimental
That
because
pedestal thing that you talked about.
right, because the thing
That
is like
pedestal.
when I'm trying to show my kids that I'm perfect, then
Yeah.
what happens is okay, first and foremost, nobody's perfect, right? So that's already
Period.
setting them up for failure because now they think that perfect is an actual thing when it's not.
Mhm.
Number two, in order for me to sustain the image of being perfect to them, that means I'm sustaining a false representation. So it's not even real. It's not even authentic. That means I'm hiding stuff from them. And what that does is then they can only mirror that. So that means now for them as a kid, they feel as if they have to be perfect kids to me. And
Mhm.
how do they do that? By hiding things
Damn.
and putting up a false representation. Like you see what I mean? So it's
Yeah.
like that's the whole thing. So it's like, okay, if I can show them through my own actions, hey, like I'm not perfect, but I am trying. I am constantly looking to get better and improve. And when I mess up, I'm gonna own it and show them like, okay, yes, you're gonna fall, but then also how do I get back up and how do I deal with that and do it in a healthy way? And teach them like life is actually about like these constant ups and downs. You know what I mean? And like we just talked about earlier, right? It's like it's not a loss, it's a lesson. Cool. What can we learn from this? And give them
Yeah.
that perspective. Right. Now what happens? Now not only does that make me a better parent, that also makes them a better child. Because now they're gonna mirror that. They're not gonna be afraid to tell me about their mistakes because they're so afraid of breaking that image of being perfect to me. They're gonna feel more open to go ahead and say, hey, yeah, like I actually messed up. This was going on. And then be like, yo, dad, like how do I work through this? And
Right.
that's what I want. I want them to be able to come to me and say, hey, how do I work through this? But it's like you have to show, not tell. So the only way I can get them to do that is if I'm doing it.
You first.
You know, it's always you first.
Yeah.
Always you first. If I want my kid to be more patient, I gotta be patient. If I don't want my kid to be yelling at their siblings, okay,
Right.
well, I gotta stop yelling at you.
Correct.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, those are things you start to see. And you're like, oh, like, where are they getting that behavior from? Especially at that young age, it's like, okay, mainly they're getting it from the house.
Dude, you know what's crazy is like our kids are just us. in like little
Little people
littler
form.
version, littler bodies. Yeah, they're just us. They're just like another different version of you, your wife, like my wife.
Yeah.
Like we're just and dude, it's yeah, they're very impressionable, but sorry, I'm gonna change. I just want to change something. Change the topic real quick. I was thinking while you were talking, having two parents, having two parents in your life is such an X factor. It's such an advantage, and I I'm sad to see and say that like so many families, and especially like in the city I work at,
Yeah.
the the kids don't have access to two parents. I feel like just the fact that you show up for your family of five, them three, your girls, dude, they're already like they're winning
Yeah.
beyond winning that they can have both. To keep that, keep that forever.
People don't understand that. And the thing is, like, for me, so my parents divorced when I was 2.
When you were
And
two,
yeah, so like, and they both got remarried and had a kid. So sometimes when
okay,
I have conversations with people, and it's something that's sensitive to me, right? Like some people I've heard some people talk about like, oh, like it wasn't, things weren't really working out. So we ended things and we just kind of co-parent or whatever like that. And like, or whatever the situation may be, whatever the choices might be. And I don't judge anybody on it whatsoever.
no,
However, my perspective of it is different because I was the kid in that situation. You see what I mean? So like,
I do.
I know what it's like to actually be the kid on the receiving end of that when everything is broken up and like the parents are still trying the best they can and still trying to show up as much as they can. But as a kid, I'm dealing with instability. I'm popping, going from dad's house, mom's house, dad, and then now I'm seeing like both my parents get married, and I became like the black sheep. Like,
Yeah,
I had a family photo shoot with my family today, and I realized like, yo, I never had a family photo shoot with my family, like me, my dad, my mom. Like, any family pictures I'm in,
right. It's
it's
well,
me with my mom, her husband, and their daughter. It's me with my dad, his wife, and their son. So like I'm surrounded by family, but I never felt like I actually had my own
you felt that in
family.
the towards you as well.
As a kid, just growing, I always felt like I was the kid. I was left out. It was like, okay, you're over here, you have your family. You're over here, you have your family. And it's like kind of like, where do I fit in, or where do I belong? I'm just being bounced around, right? I'm just constantly being bounced around, and there's no stability, there's no cohesion, there is no true like me with my family right now. This is my first time I'm actually experiencing family,
How dope is that?
and I'm not the kid in it. I'm playing a different role.
But
However, it's still my first experience of
yeah.
actual family.
But I know. But how's that for you? Like, how's that been?
Like you said, it's healing, it's therapeutic, and not just from the fact that I'm able to see my kids live it,
Mm,
but then also for me as well.
crazy.
You see what I'm saying? Like, there's been times where I've really had tears in my eyes, and it caught me off guard because I saw
Yeah,
my daughter, one of my daughters, run to my wife, right? Because she was emotional for something. And then after she ran to my wife, then she ran to me.
yeah.
And in my head, all I could think was like, yo, I've only had one person to go to at a time.
Mm,
I never had the option to like think like, oh, who do I go to right now? Or let me go to this one and then go to that one.
right, right.
Or let me like even like in that moment, I was just like, oh my God, like you have two parents in the house. And it seemed so simple, but for me, it was just like, no, that's actually very deep for me.
It's
I
every.
just don't I just don't know what that's like. And you're right. It's really supposed to be a two-parent job. It's a two-person job.
Oh yeah, it
And
really
it's
is.
not. I mean, it's not two-person job. You gotta compensate. Like if you're doing it on your own, right? And whoever is, shout out to all the single dads out there. You
Yeah,
feel it, right? Like you feel the fact that you are having to compensate for both roles. You know what I mean? And it's not easy with two. You know what I mean? Like it's still, even with two, it's still pushing everybody to their limit. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? So it's like, imagine like on one, it's like, talking about
it's survival.
basketball.
At that
But you
point, it's
think
survival.
about like how, how like you do when we do like the fast break drills. You know what I mean? And it's like the 2-on-1. It's
Oh yeah,
think about going from like being on offense when it's like you and your teammate against a defender, and then switching it around. Now you're the defender with two people coming at you.
yeah. I don't know. Well,
I don't know.
like
I don't.
every
Yeah,
move is gonna be a L. Like you go
they're
this
gonna
way,
score, but I just make
but
it hard.
yeah, it's just you're gonna get beat,
You're
and
gonna get
yeah,
beat. You know what I mean? You're gonna get
damn,
beat. So it's you know what I mean? It's tough. It's really tough.
yeah.
Um,
I've
and
been
then
thinking about it more lately because oh my bad.
no, go
Um,
ahead.
I'm having some peers like that I know from college and high school who are actually like going through divorces or like have
Yeah,
gone through divorces, and some of them do have kids,
yeah,
and like you gotta if you gotta separate, like it is what it is.
yeah.
You know the adults, I'm like, y'all are adults, like you're gonna figure it out. But I always think about the kid. I'm like, fuck, like
The kids, bro.
I hope you find your way at, because I know you can still, you're gonna find, they're gonna find their way, but it's like it's just gonna be a little bit harder.
Yep.
And then in my heart, I just think about them. Um,
Yeah.
I for me, dude, when it was just my mom, I feel like if it stayed that way, I would have been a really weird. I think I would have struggled a lot
You ain't a
because
different person.
I'm a yeah, absolutely. I'm a very I think back then I was kind of weak, but I'm also very emotional,
Yeah.
and I think yeah, just having, and my mom was going through a lot, and I think she was like depressed. Honestly, she was like depressed. She was single. She was working like a lot,
Yeah.
so she wasn't available. And
Hmm.
those 2 years, when I think back on it, I in my memory, like everything is like dark and cloudy, you know, even though we lived in California. So it's like I associate those times with kind of like darkness, and I this is part of why I feel like God is real. Like I prayed for like my family to come back together, and I know that's not really God's job, to do that.
Yeah.
Because
But for
even
it to
if,
happen, for you
yeah,
to pray for it and for it to happen, it
that's what I'm
definitely
saying.
gives you different perspective.
It does, and even if it didn't happen, God is still good and God is still
Yes.
powerful. But it happening did make me kind of look at him and be like, "Wait, did you do that?" Like
Yeah.
that, that was different. So
Yeah.
yeah.
No, so my whole childhood, from the time that my dad and I started to like not be super close,
Hmm.
all the way into like the end of high school, is just darkness for me.
Oh, dude, what are some memories about that time that like that you can drum up?
I think that's why sports was such a big deal for me, because like basketball was the thing where it was like, from the time as soon as I step on the court,
Uh huh.
everything in my life stops. Like
Right.
literally, I don't. It's the only time where like I wasn't thinking about anything that's going on in my life. From the time I step on the court to the time I step off, and so like that was a huge deal for me. You know what I mean? A huge deal for me. And then what happened to me was I ended up fracturing my spine a week after I graduated high school,
Mm.
and then I couldn't play in college. And then when I lost that, it was like losing like not just all the work I had put into it, but it
Right.
also was losing my identity. It was losing my safe haven. And so I went into like a crazy spell of depression, like crazy, like I mean, like suicidal at a
Yeah.
very young age. Like you're 18, so it's like, and to crawl out of that and trying to figure out, okay, I don't want to end my life, but I also don't know what to do with my life, and I don't know who I am, and I got to figure this out. To then like being a man who's still trying to put the pieces together, and then having your first kid, right? You know what I mean? And then almost losing my marriage, and then having to work through that. Like
Yeah.
I got hit with like one thing after another, after another, after another, after another.
Wait, tell me the
It's
timeline again. So, okay, so I remember you telling me when we were getting coffee,
yeah,
you you were you were gonna play ball in
yeah,
college,
yeah.
You were committed to play at Arizona?
Yeah, so I had scholarships to different colleges, right?
Their colleges.
Arizona State was one of the ones where I was like,
ASU.
this is gonna happen. Like we're ready to rock.
And then when you broke your spine,
Yeah.
were you still attending that school?
No, so this was like right after I finished high school. So as a
Okay,
result, I ended up going to University of San Francisco because I had got in there academically, right? I
got it,
got into a couple schools academically.
got it.
And my parents being immigrant parents, they were like education first. Like they never really fully understood like my love for the game and like what that meant for me. But they saw that it was important to me, but nothing
They
came
let you
before
roll
it.
with it. But
Yeah, but nothing came before books. You know what I mean? Like I wanted to take a year off, rehab, and try to figure things out. And they
Mhm.
were like, "What you got into school?" And like,
Take your
you,
broken back to
yeah,
US. Yeah,
go to university,
yeah.
right? Like within like 2.5 months, I was walking, I was starting to like being able to jog a little bit and whatnot. Like it was painful, but like,
You must have been pretty raw in high school though. If you had
I was
D1,
functioning. I mean,
were you a guard
we, we,
or
I was
forward?
point guard. I was point
You were a
guard.
point
I'm
guard?
short. I'm short for basketball.
Oh, okay, that's fair.
Yeah,
Because I see you
I'm
as a
short.
big
Yeah,
buff dude.
nah, dude. I was skinny back in the day. I was skinny. I'm like 175.
Is there tape out there of you?
That's a good question. I gotta pull some stuff. I know my dad
I'm sure
chicken
there is.
thighs.
Yeah.
You know,
So USF, and then that's when
met
those were
all.
dark days.
Yeah.
Were you
But
when you were?
the thing about it is like I was one of those people where you would never know that something's going on with them.
It was all up here.
Like you know how some people like they're always smiling, they're always happy,
Uh-huh.
they have a good heart, they actually do things for other people. I
Right.
was that guy while I was in my darkness. So like you would never know what was going on with me internally. No one knew.
You didn't want to talk about with no one, not even one person.
When you grow up though in that environment of like both parents being split, you end up getting to a point where you realize, or not realize, but you just start being very dependent on yourself at a very young age, right? Like, because there's no
For good and
stability.
bad. For good and
Yeah,
bad, because
for good and bad.
you're
Yeah, because
learning
like
independence, but to a
at the
fault.
same time, it's kind of like okay, you don't. I don't- at any given point, like there's no. It's like a tree with roots. If I put a root into the ground for a little bit, and then I take it out and then go plant it back over here, leave it there for a little bit, take it out, then go put it back over here, and keep on going back and forth. Like it never really gets to grow deep,
Yeah.
right? And so that's kind of what it was like. I never had a place where I could really like build roots in and feel like, okay, this is home, this is where I'm at, this is, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was always like, well, I'm with my mom, and like I'm almost like the man in the house now. I gotta be there for my mom. Right. And then when my sister, her father left when she was 2, and I was 14. So now it's like I'm 14. I'm really the man in the house, and now my sister's going through the same thing I went through. And I was like, I refuse for my sister to feel what I felt. So she was really like my first daughter. You know what I mean?
Damn.
I'm 14 changing diapers. I'm 14, 15, 16 picking her up from daycare while still trying to go to high school, trying to play ball. Like, you know what I mean? I'm working a whole bunch of summer jobs trying to help out. Like, it's just a completely different. So there's no like when do you really say okay, this is what I'm going to vent to and this is what I can like you don't. You have to internalize everything and stay strong because like if you're not strong, then the people around you that you care about who are clearly in a weak state will who they fall on if you're weak. So like that was my mindset. You know what I mean? It's just like I gotta always just be strong for everybody around me. But like I was strong for everybody but myself, and I didn't realize that until like everything came crashing down. Then it was like, oh, I'm over here spending all my energy to keep everybody up, but I'm
Mm.
not taking care of me. And so, like, the reason why, after overcoming all that at a young age, now stepping into fatherhood, I see a lot of dads going through is the exact same thing. But, like, I already went through it from like 16 to 20. So, like, I easily recognize the signs and recognize what it looks like. So I talk to a dad, I'm like, hey, man, how's everything going? Yeah, I'm fine. I'm good. Yeah, no, you're not.
Because you
You're
don't say
dying.
that.
You're
Yeah, you.
dying inside right now.
Yeah,
You
no,
are
for sure.
legit dying inside right now. Like, no, you're not okay, bro. Like, actually talk. Let's actually have a real conversation. Like, how do you really feel right now? Right? Like, dude, it's okay to, and I think that's where we have to change the narrative as fathers and creating more intimate relationships with each other, right? Where we can use it as a time to actually have real conversations because it's like, who else is going to understand you more than another dad, more than another husband? You know, if you would tell me right now, like, hey man, like, stuff with my wife is all fucked up right now,
Mm.
I'd be the best person for you to talk to. 'Cause I get it, I know.
Mm.
And you've probably never had a place to vent, no place to talk, or like to feel truly heard. I would be able to provide that for you because I would be the one person you'd be able to talk to, and you actually be able to feel seen. But we don't utilize that because we're not socially taught to do that, and we
Right,
don't. We don't. Someone always has to take the first step.
right. We're really good about talking about the last basketball game or
Always
such and such like that. We could talk for hours about that,
easy. But
but
like, what's actually going on with life?
right.
Like, dude, being a father is hard. Like, if you're married and you have a kid for your first kid, someone's hearing this, you just had your first kid, and you're going through some stuff in your marriage. Understand, like, you're not the first person to go through that. Going from zero kid to one kid is crazy. It's a transition that's going to test you in every aspect you could possibly think of, especially your relationship.
It's almost pre-programmed that your marriage will also take a hit. Not
Yeah,
like a forever hit, like you'll bounce back, but like the marriage does get affected.
but some
I
people
mean,
don't bounce back.
it has to.
But the thing is, a lot of people don't even bounce back. Like a lot of times, it just falls apart, right? Because they don't learn that it's about evolution. We have to figure it out now. Like you have to be more intentional about things now. Whatever you were getting away with before, it's like you know what it feels like. It feels like for me, it was like when you go from high school to college. Everybody, once you get to college, you realize like, oh, everybody was good at high school.
Yeah.
So whatever you did in high school, now you go to college, it's like whatever you did in high school doesn't matter anymore.
Especially
You
if you
have
were someone who was naturally like smart or gifted, like you just
is that
cruise through.
you were cruising through, right? Like if you were the best person in high school, you kind of just cruised through, and like
Yeah.
you could get away with not being on help side defense. You can get away with not getting those 50-50 balls. You could get away with messing up a play here or there. You go to college, bro. Everybody was the man in high school. You have to in order to be the man in college. Yeah, those things matter now. So it's like okay, you go from like zero kids. There's some things you can get away with. Why? Because you have time. You have your resources are not being
Right.
bled out by like other things going on, and your guys are with each other. You have the opportunity to continue to pour into your intimacy with each other naturally. It doesn't take a lot of effort, really. But when you have that kid, bro, we don't move to the pros now. Like
Your
if you're
schedule is
not,
the first thing that
bro,
goes. Your
first
schedule,
thing
and
that goes,
that's the first thing. And I think one of the things that helped us was on Google Calendars,
yeah,
we have a shared calendar and it's like
same,
color coded like
bro,
purple.
same,
Dude, right? And then
yeah,
everything goes in there, bro. Like from stuff that pertains to the kids, but also like Lucia's nights out, she'll plug those in there and then
yep,
she'll shoot me a text, hey, I just plugged in
yep,
this.
yep, same,
So, yeah, I'm like, okay, cool, thanks. And then vice versa, same thing, plug it in. And then communicating and then sharing that time. And then also it's like marriage, it gets kind of unsexy like once you start having kids. I mean, not
yeah,
forever, but like it kind of gets to a place where it's just like you're surviving, you're sleep deprived, and then like you have shit on your hands, like like what I mean? Like your clothes are I don't know, just like it gets unsexy, but it's like it's beautiful also at the same time, and
yeah.
you can also romanticize it. It's a beautiful thing to like raise a kid with someone that you love and has been there for you. It looks different. It's not like romance. It's more like real love, like earth love. Like earthly love, like
It's
from the
partnership.
it's just teamwork, dude. Like
It's teamwork, bro.
having
You
that
guys are
life.
building. You're
Yeah,
building something together. Like you got to get dirty. You got to get your hands dirty to build something together,
and
right?
it's crazy. Yeah,
And that's the thing, right? It's like right now, especially in the age of social media, everything's about appearance.
Oh yeah.
Everything's about appearance. And it's like the reality is real love and a real family and really making it really work requires work.
Yeah.
And it looks very different than what you think it is and what you think you may fantasize. Like when you get into it, you realize like, oh, number one, this is actually what really matters. And number two, it's not what you originally thought it was gonna be.
It's also a lot of like you conceding and you compromising. Obviously, like one party can't always be the compromiser. Like, you do it together, but it's a lot of like giving up. Like, here's the time for you.
Yes.
Here's the like you're lower energy wise, you're lower than me. Like go take a break, go take a nap. Like I'll take the hit. Sometimes you take the hit, but it's like, it's about conceding and like and losing. Like not losing, but like taking the L so that your partner can, like get what they need in that moment. I for the longest time, I'm so petty, bro. Like I would keep track of like, oh, I've done the past 3 diapers. I think it's time for you to do the next one. I'm like that. I'll say like just to be like candid with you, like I'm
Uh,
I'm I keep track. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah,
Like I'm a scorekeeper, and so like I'll say some passive aggressive shit like, oh man, like I don't remember the last time I went out, like, or like just to like let her know, like, I have my eye on this tally. I'm
yeah,
winning.
yeah,
Just so you know,
yeah,
I'm winning. So
yeah,
I
yeah,
need to, and I needed to drop that like disgusting habit, dude, because like we're on the same team, we're on the same team. I don't know why I'm keeping score with her, like, and I still do it. I'm not gonna lie, I do it less, but like
yes,
I was doing it heavy the first year of Quentin's like life because
yeah,
he required so much out of us, and yeah, every diaper change I'd count, like, every night out versus every night of mine out. I would like compare and contrast, and I'll try to make it fair. But the reality is, it's not fair. Honestly, dude, being a woman is harder than being a man. In and I'll argue anyone on that,
yeah,
especially with um, birth and being pregnant and periods and stuff. Like biologically, women have just a harder lot in life, and so it was already not fair. And so for me to like bitch about like, oh, fairness is like pretty ironic coming from the guy, and so I kind of had to just be like, well, shit, like I'm not trying to fight for fairness. I'm just trying to fight for us both winning. So sometimes that means I might do more diaper changes in a row, and it is what it is. Like I just had to like get over myself.
yeah. It's funny, man. I feel like the biggest thing that we have to learn is how to properly communicate. And I
Mhm.
think that once kids come
Mhm.
into the picture, you are forced to deal with your willingness to improve in that area
Mhm.
or deal with the consequences of your inability to improve in that area. And one of the things that I would even suggest to you and the things that I've learned is
Mhm.
being able to communicate directly
Mhm.
and gently,
Mhm.
right? So like you talk about like the passive aggressiveness, like and the scorekeeping. I used to do all that.
Oh yeah.
Right? I used to do all that. Like it's hard not to, right? Because it's like okay, like I'm actually being an active dad and I'm involved in everything and I'm doing everything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, but like
Hey,
yo,
but
like
the
I
bar
want
is
my
low, man.
cookies.
I'll
I want
say
my
the
cook.
bar is low.
No, but it's super low. It's super low. But
It's
at the
super
end of
low.
the
Like,
day, like
like me and you just being
yeah,
around, we're already like
yeah,
good
we're
dads.
already
It's
winning. We're already
it's
yeah,
so
we're
it's
already good dads. It's
so
crazy.
sad. Like people
But
say
at the
like,
exact
oh
same time, no. But hey, at the same time though, a dad just being present is huge. So
no,
it's like yes, you could say, oh, all I'm doing is being present. However, you just being present is, I mean, even if you look at the studies, bro,
no,
if you look
yes,
at the studies of just having a present father, it
yeah,
is night and day in the
yes,
development of a child.
it is, it
Night
is.
and day. So I don't want to take away value of it, even though it seems
No,
like
no,
such
no,
a
I'm
small
not.
thing. You
But
know
the
what I mean?
bar for being a good
But
mom
the
is
bar is
like
really low. The bar is
no,
really low for dad.
No, for
versus
dads, like
moms. Yeah,
for moms
yeah,
is hella high. Like you have to
it's
be like
high.
creative. Like you have to, like pack all the right snacks. Like they dude.
It's yeah. It's a
Thank
lot of
God.
pressure.
Thank God
It's
I
some
was born.
pressure.
I couldn't handle it.
Oh,
I
amen.
couldn't.
No,
God knew.
it's pressure. He knew. He knew. I wouldn't change it for anything. I love being a dad. I personally would not want to be a mom. I love being a dad.
Yeah.
But I would say is like when it comes to communication is being able to say things right that's direct, but like I said, gently. So like my thing was like, hey, I tell my wife like, hey, look, listen, right now I'm in a spot where I feel like I'm reaching that point where I need to recharge.
Hmm.
I love you. I love the kids. But I need to go ahead and find an opportunity for me to recharge. And as you already know, my way of recharging doesn't involve any of you guys. Love you guys. Hey, I love you guys to death. Love you guys to death. But cause like my wife, like when she's stressed out with the kids, anything that she wants to do involves me.
She wants to hang out with you.
Yes. Like she wants to go out, she wants to go out with me. If she wants to go play, she like do something, she wants to do it with me. Whatever it
Mm.
is, like she recharges when she gets quality time with me without the kids. And that's great. I love her for that.
Yeah.
But for me, I have to get away from everybody.
Everyone.
Right? Like I have to get away from everybody. Especially having all girls. I'm just in the house alone all the time. I'm like, I need to play basketball, I need to play golf, I need to go get a cigar, like whatever.
Yeah.
It's just I need to get out of here. Right? And now I'm getting more intentional and actually utilize that time because now I'm like, hey, I want to get around other guys who are like minded. I don't want to just use it to take a break mentally, but I also want to use it to take inventory of where I'm at, where are you at, and then also how can we get better? How can we do something? How can we collaborate? How can we build? How can we create something? So like those are the things that I start to focus more on. You know what I mean? So that level of communication I feel like is really big. And just being able to say things in a certain way where it's like I'm saying exactly what it is that I feel, but without necessarily like the emotion behind it.
Yeah. Like more stoic.
Yeah. But that communication is not it changes things drastically.
Yeah.
It changes things drastically. Right? If you come in the house, I don't want to come in the house with like all my emotional baggage for the day. And now everyone just has to like tolerate me. Right? I'd rather go ahead in that scenario just say, hey boo, like I've had a really crazy day and I'm gonna do the best I can. Just tell me what it is that you need. But I just want to let you just know, like, hey, if I do anything that's out of character, it's not a personal attack on you. Like this is just where I'm at right now.
Mhm. Like you
And
start with that.
just leading, right? You're always leading. If you're always going first,
Mm.
always go first, always go first in
So
everything.
after you started doing that, has your wife also done that to you? Like when she gets home, has she like told you like, oh, I'm at here just so you know, and blah XYZ? Like, has she
No, no,
also
no,
done?
no, no. No, that's all
No.
me. That's all me.
Oh,
Right?
okay.
Only because I feel like my wife, when it comes to her and like her emotions, I never have to guess. Right? Like her emotions
Oh, I
being
see. For her,
yeah,
it's
like
right there.
yeah, like she expressed her emotions easily. Like that comes naturally for her. Right?
That's a
Whereas
gift.
for me, yeah, whereas for me that was never a natural thing. You like she would have to like guess what's going on with me, or she makes sense of something's going on with me, and then she'll ask me, and I don't say either what I want to say, or I don't say anything at all, or I just like pretend like I'm okay because I actually want to be okay. I'm not saying oh I'm okay because I'm trying to
Like
lie. I'm saying okay because I'm really trying to like psych myself up
you're
to
trying to,
be
yeah.
okay. Like I understand that
I'm okay,
I need
right? I'm
yeah
good.
like
I'm okay. Yeah.
I'm good, right? Like I'm good. I'm good. No, I'm good. No, come on, I'm good.
I'm good. Yeah,
But it's
yeah.
like, yo, I'm
But it's like,
trying to be good. You
and
know what I
I'm not,
mean?
but I'm not,
I'm
and it's
not.
like,
Like I'm
yeah,
really not. But I'm trying to be good. But it was like learning how to like stop doing that and just being say, hey, to just say that. To say, hey, I'm not good, but I'm trying. You see what I mean? Like it's as simple as that. It's just me just saying exactly how I feel versus me saying something else. And that changed everything. Trust me, bro, it changes everything. Like that
yeah.
level of communication is just like, okay, now I know what I'm dealing with because now we're going back to that team dynamic,
I'm gonna write that down.
huge team dynamic,
Yeah.
right? Because you get to that point where with kids, nothing in your relationship is going to happen on accident,
No.
right? Like if you want better communication, you got to work on it,
I
right?
mean, I like the idea of like like leading off with it, like as soon as you enter the room or like get back
Yeah,
together, like
yeah.
just letting them know where you're at.
But you know
I
why though, right?
Yeah, I do. I
Because
think it's
because when you as soon as you walk into the house, what happens?
yeah.
From their perspective, it's like, okay, David's home. I'm about to drop all this on him right now, and you know that. You know as soon as you walk through the door, like you're going from job one to job two.
Mm,
You know what I mean? This is not really like, okay, let me get a moment to chill. No, you're going from job one to job two, and there's
mm,
certain expectations that are going to be held for you as soon as you walk through the door. And
yeah.
so because I know that already,
That's why I walk
right?
really slowly from the car to the door. Because I was
Dude,
kidding.
no, I laugh because like there's times where I've seen my neighbor who lives in the house across from me,
In his car.
and we'll both be in our cars
I know, and you're just like,
taking a moment, and then we're
yeah,
like, we both know exactly like nonverbal, right? We just laugh.
yeah.
It's like,
You
all right,
have to. You have.
I didn't take this moment to myself, but it's like the mindset has to be different. The mindset can't be like, damn, fuck these kids.
No, never that.
Right?
Never that.
Like it can't be like, I don't really want to go in here. It has to be, let me get myself right so that
Yeah.
I can be
Breathe.
what they need me to be.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
okay, take it. It's like that moment when the players are in the tunnel before they come onto the court or onto
Sure.
the field. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, all right,
You lock in.
game time,
Yeah.
game time. Let's
Yeah.
go, let's go, Dad.
Yeah. All the breathing and just.
Yeah, game face. Time to show up and show out.
Hey, so you've been getting into cigar, or you're into cigars?
Yo, I've been in cigars probably for like a year and a half. Man,
Nice. That's one of your.
I've been around it for a
Yeah.
long time, but it's one of those things where like I get it now. There's a lot of these like old man stuff that like I used to see as a
Oh,
kid. I didn't understand, and I completely understand now.
yeah.
Because you have to
It's
think
like
about like
wine. It's like
yes,
because the
yes,
good ones are really really good.
mm-hmm.
My thing is hot tubbing.
Ooh,
Like our community, we have like a community pool, and there's a jacuzzi there. No one uses it. No one
see,
uses it. So sometimes like 9:30, 10ish, like when like everything's done here, I'll
yeah.
just go over there and I'll just sit in the hot water, dude. That's when I'm most reflective, and that's when I'm most kind of just like I get energy from it, dude. It's crazy. But I feel like you get that from cigars. That's why I asked.
No, yeah,
Like what do you think, you know?
yeah. Because I get a moment to just relax and do and like you don't rush a cigar. You know what I mean? You
No.
enjoy
Yeah,
it,
yeah, yeah. Because
and it
that shit's
takes time.
expensive.
Yeah, no, for real. But it also like it. To be honest with you, a lot of my thinking of just like whether it's reflecting on me in my life and like how I can do things better, or it's reflecting on like my family, or it's reflecting on business, or just coming with the ideas, like just any just I have the most my thinking is extremely clear when I'm smoking
Mhm.
cigars because I actually have a moment to just slow down,
Yeah.
right? Like my grandmother
Yeah.
used to say, "You go faster when you slow down."
And that's like the truest thing I've ever heard. Like what you get when you're doing your cigar is the same thing I get when I'm just chilling
Yeah,
in the jacuzzi.
yeah.
Like
You zen out.
creativity, yeah, and a free like flow conscious like up
Yeah,
here.
yeah. Right. It's like almost like a form of meditation, right?
It
When you
is.
talk about of clearing your mind, because which is great for me because like I've tried
Yeah.
meditation where you have to like silence everything, and I'm
Uh-huh.
not good with that. Like I suck at it. But like with cigars, it's like it's my form of meditation for me. Like I'm
Yeah.
able to in that moment, I'm able to actually kind of quiet everything in my mind and focus on exactly what I want to focus
Lately, like legacy leaders, what are your main objectives right now with what you're working on, your business stuff?
on. Yeah, yeah. I mean, legacy leaders is It's exactly what it says, right? Change the man, change generations, and leaving a legacy. So it's all about one thing I noticed with guys in certain environments I've been in is that sometimes we'll get around each other and hang out, and
Yeah.
then we'll talk about the exact same things, and we realize that we're actually living quite a parallel lives, dealing with some a lot of very similar struggles, and we don't really feel like we have the space to be able to discuss those things. But more importantly, taking a step further is that we don't feel like we have the tools to improve them. So we can talk about them, but then we go back dealing with the same thing. And so it started off with me dealing with myself in my life and taking certain principles, right, of thought, of self mastery, and mindset, and changing those things. And once I started to change those things and get those things in order, everything else in my life started to change, right? And so it's now figuring out how to take those into frameworks, not taking those into frameworks. And so now I have two different things. I have a platform, a community based platform where it's almost like a group, right?
Mhm.
Of group coaching and just community, where now it's like guys can go ahead and actually talk to each other, right? We can talk about the things that we're going through, uplift each other, push each other, keep each other accountable,
Mhm.
and then also have group coaching calls that like I lead myself, uh, to go ahead and actually have those real discussions and give off those tools. And I also have resources that are already pre-built into the community platform on the
Mhm.
education side, where they can go over different things like discipline, mindset mastery, focus, productivity, everything, sleep, nutrition, training, working out, like all these different things of like, yo, like you work on becoming your best self and then give that best version of you to
To everyone.
everyone around you that you
Yeah.
love. That's the key
I
concept,
love that. I
right?
would say
Because
I love that. You
everyone's
know,
giving from an empty cup. But if
right.
you can start giving from an overflow of what you give yourself, that's how you change the game.
It's the most selfless thing you could do is like to work on yourself. It's like
Easy.
people think initially that that's selfish, but it's if your intentions are to like eventually serve the people around you, then the most selfless thing you could do is like pour into yourself. And
Yeah.
I talk about this a lot with my students is like because they're 17, 18 years old, they're about to be young adults. It's
Yeah.
like whatever you do, college, trade, go into the workforce, you have to work to be a net positive to the world. Every adult is either there's no neutral. Every adult is
No.
right. No,
Yeah, those
you're
facts.
either a net positive to
Yeah,
your community, your circle, or you're a net negative. That's just it's not mean. It's just true.
it's facts.
If if you're a net positive, then you can at the end of your life you can look back and be like, I didn't change the whole freaking world, but like while I was alive, I was adding value
Yes.
to around me, in my family, in my work, in my community, at my church, whatever. And then if you're negative, dude, it's like, bro, like you're holding us back, man. Like
Yeah.
we got to pick it up, like, and yeah, young kids need to hear that because they've been so harmed and hurt by adults in their lives who are net negatives. So it's like, don't be that. Like it's hard to say that sometimes because they don't have that example of the productive, value adding adult.
Yeah.
But that's what we try to be, right? As like teachers, educators,
Yeah.
business owners like yourself. Like that's what we're trying to do.
Bro, that's why I preach so much on like pain is your purpose. That's what helped me. And I think that's what shifted a lot of things for me is because I realized there were so many things in my life where like because of all the pain that I was feeling from
Yeah,
different things, whether it was like the relationship, whether it was stress, whether it was like money, whatever was going on, all the things that I was doing that I was labeling self care weren't really self care. It was actually me trying to escape it. You see what I mean?
I do.
So you think about like all the things that we do like as guys, right? Whether it's it's the drugs, it's the alcohol, it's video games, it could be porn, it could be like all these different things. In
Yeah,
reality, like it's us escaping the things that are actually going on, right? Whereas like the place where you find your best self is by facing those things head on
yeah,
and becoming the man who no longer has those problems, right? So like even talking about these kids, like, okay, they're saying, okay, well, I don't. Their pain would be, I don't have an example and I don't know anything. Great, your purpose now has become the pursuit of figuring it out.
Right.
Because it's never about the destination, it's always a journey, right? It's always about who you are becoming. And I think a lot of times we don't understand that, right?
Real-
Who am I becoming, right? Like for me, it's okay if I'm super stressed and overwhelmed with trying to figure out how do I have a great marriage and how do I become a great father and how do I make all this money and how do I do all these different things, yada yada yada. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Take a second, take a time out, close your eyes, think about the version of you who can handle all those things, who has all those things.
Yeah.
What does he look like? How does he think? What does he do? You open your eyes, boom, go be that guy.
You'll find what you're looking for.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you're out of shape and you're like, damn, man, I hate the way I look and like it's just uncomfortable and like I'm my clothes, I'm always thinking about how my clothes fit and yada yada
Yeah.
yada and like my son, go work out.
Period. Wait, that's it. I mean,
Is
so
it gonna
much,
suck? Is it gonna suck at the beginning? Of course. Is it gonna be uncomfortable? Of course. But
but
like,
you know
what are
what's
you
gonna
gonna
suck
do?
more? Not doing it though. You know what's
Not
gonna
doing
suck
it,
more is like staying there.
bro. Stay in the same spot.
It's gonna be hard either way. I don't think anyone in life can escape like hardness, you know?
Mm-mm,
Whether it's
mm-mm.
I'm broke and I'm miserable and I hate myself, or I'm really trying to do some shit and that's really
Yeah,
hard.
yeah,
But I mean, between the two extremes, you know, I would rather go for it
yeah,
every time.
yeah. And that's why like the escapism is so detrimental, right? The escapism is actually self sabotage because you're dealing with the suffering and your response to it is by shutting it off versus letting it work on you, right? When you start working out when you're out of shape,
Yeah.
right? You're actually depositing into yourself, right? It's self development. But if you say, God, man, I'm so out of shape and I hate it, and let me go emotionally eat, self sabotage.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? So it's like
Cycle.
when you try to escape from it, from the pain, right? You can only have self sabotaging habits. But when you actually work on actually overcoming whatever the problem is, it requires self development. A man is only as great as his self development. That's why like I do the community and I also do one on one coaching, right?
Yeah.
And when I do my one on one coaching with an approach of like leadership development because it's like how can you lead anybody? How can you lead your family? How can you lead anything if you're not leading yourself, right? So as soon as you start to get you're able to get very intentional with how you live your life and stop making excuses and stop having a victim mentality. You say, hey, look, this is what matters to me. This is the life I want to live, and I'm about to go ahead and attack it. And I don't care what the problems are. I don't care how overwhelming things can be. I don't care how stressful things can be. I'm going to figure it out. Once that shift changes in your mind, you actually realize how much of the problems that you have going on, the frustration you have going on, is because you weren't making that switch,
And it's
right?
all like,
Like it's all in your head. So you control this, everything else falls in line.
don't you wish you had more like teachers along the way who kind of preach this stuff, like what you're talking
Hell
about?
yeah. Hell yes.
I think
Absolutely.
because I work in education, I think something that I see a big problem. I mean, are you sending your kids to public schools? I am, but
Yeah, right now my kids are in public school. They were in
yeah,
private school for a little bit,
oh,
and now
they
they're in
were.
public school. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah, yeah. They're in
Yeah,
public school right now.
mine are in public schools, but like in the public school system, you know, the majority of teachers are highly uninspired adults.
Of
They're the
course.
ones that you were describing earlier, the ones that are burnt out and say, "I wish I could do that. I wish I could do that," and they're just
Yeah,
stuck in the cage that is their mind, right?
yeah,
I, they're my coworkers, bro. Like I know them, and it's so sad that they live in this they live in this self-created like world of like negativity and like victimization. And I feel like I'm the crazy one when I because I come to school, I'm optimistic. You know me.
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
optimistic. I have a lot of joy in my heart. I'm like, dude, let's make shit happen. Like let's do it. Like let's make stuff happen for our kids and for our school. And like sometimes I feel like I'm the crazy one because I'm optimistic. Like is optimism so crazy? Like to want to
It,
do something. You know what I mean? Like, is that so crazy now? Like, no.
well, I think
But
the biggest thing is that like optimism requires self accountability,
Mhm.
right? Like to believe in change means that you believe that it can change, and to believe that it can change means that you believe that you can change. And a
and
lot of
and
people
and
don't.
people,
A lot of people, yeah, and a lot of people don't
me and
want,
others. Yeah.
yeah. But like a lot of people, you have to understand, are operating in a place of removing this self accountability. So it's always like, oh, this is happening to me because of this, or because of
Right.
this, or because of this, right? And it's understanding that like any problem that you have, I tell guys all the time, whatever any problem that you have, it's never an external solution. It's always an internal one. No matter what the problem is, it's always an internal solution. So like a lot of the problems I was having growing up, and like with my dad and all those things as a kid, my
Yeah.
biggest problem was I was looking for an external solution.
Nothing would have solved that.
Nothing could have solved that but me, right? Like whatever would have fixed it would have been what it had to have happened inside here,
No, no female, no girlfriend, no
bro.
drug, no status. You could have been, whatever the
You know how many
pinnacle.
relationships? You know how many relationships, bro? I fell into just because of like that void of wanting to be around someone who valued me
Right.
because I didn't feel like I had value.
And but you were
When
again, you
it
were getting
when
the
it when it exactly what the problem was that I needed to value myself because I can't have a real relationship with somebody if I don't value myself. So,
I need
but
all
just
my
a simple,
I need
but
my
this,
students to hear this, bro.
bro, the simple foundation of me going to a relationship looking to get something from the other person automatically makes it a toxic relationship.
It's done.
It's destined to fail because I'm looking to get something out of you. I'm not thinking about what I'm giving into it because I'm missing something already that I'm not taking care of myself, right? And so it's like understanding that, like, okay, no matter what I'm going through, bro, it's always an internal solution.
What how
I need to become the man that I need to be for myself, right? The father that whatever I wanted from my father,
Yeah.
I had to the solution would have been being that for myself. Think about that. If I was 16, I thought to myself, okay, whatever I was missing from my dad, I'm gonna be that for myself. What?
Mhm.
You know what I mean? If I was like, I'm gonna fill in those blanks on my own. I'm not gonna blame him for anything.
That
Matter of fact,
happened
if
to you
anything,
at
I'm saying,
16?
no, I'm saying if I did, if I
Oh,
had
oh,
that,
I was like,
no, no, no,
what?
no, I definitely didn't have that thought process. But I'm saying if I had that thought process then, like if
Oh,
I could take me now, like my brain now, and put it into 16-year-old me, it would go crazy.
unstoppable.
It would go crazy.
Yo, no, it's all good. What happened? Just that was there a time limit?
No, it's just Riptide just shut down randomly.
Oh, okay.
Don't worry about it. The editor will put everything together.
For sure. Wait, so it 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 edits it's for you?
No, no, no. I have someone that does that.
Oh, got it, got it, got
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah.
Because I know there's AI tools that you could.
Yeah, for sure, for sure, for sure. Yeah, sorry about that.
No,
Um,
don't worry about it.
but yeah,
Yeah.
like that's the thing where I feel like is what needs to be passed down, right? And that's where I see the biggest thing is. That's why I say, like, again, change the man, change generations. I was like, if I can take a guy who's a family man and get him to think that way and get him to start to do that, how does that impact everything around him? How does that impact his relationship? How does that impact
It'll
his kids? And then from his, if he does that and that changes his kids, then imagine now his kids are getting that from, you know what I mean? And then what happens to their kids' kids?
yeah. I mean, you'll change whole cities and whole,
Like,
you know,
with one,
like
just changing one man's life, I can change a whole generation.
I, not to be cocky, but I feel like in my like lineage, I would say it's either me or I'm very close to that turning point.
Yeah, you are.
You know what I mean? Like I mean my
I know I
yeah,
am.
I I love that. Say that, bro.
uh, no, man, like, for
No, I
real, like,
love
fuck
that.
being cocky. That's real.
No, yeah.
I can't.
That's the turn.
I can tell you. I
Yeah.
can tell you. Like, I'm going on 11 years. 11 years of marriage.
Hmm.
Like, 3 kids. All my kids were with one woman who I'm married to.
Yeah.
I cannot tell you of any other man living right now with my last name that can tell you those exact same facts.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's not even cocky. Like, I'm literally changing the game
You're just
for my
taking
family.
yeah, yeah. Bro. Oof.
You see what I'm
That's
saying?
beautiful. Yeah, I do. I get it. I
Like,
hear
the
you.
standard is being put. Like, we were talking about the bar is low. I'm raising the bar now. Like
1000%.
anybody else, anyone in my family who's a father, they already know like how everyone views me when it comes to fatherhood.
Correct.
So like you have to step it up.
No choice but to.
And there's no excuses, right? Like no different than like when all my friends who are fathers and they see me, working out, they all know I'm married. They all know I have 3 kids. They know I'm running a business.
That's right.
So they're like, okay, damn, what excuses can I bring to say why
None.
I'm not working out? None, because they already know my life. They know I'm working long hours. They know I'm like what is it on your plate that I don't have? I have the exact same
Right.
things, but I'm still working. I'm still figuring out. Only because
I told my yeah.
I've made it non-negotiable. I said, okay, this is something that I have to do. I know if I don't, right? It's just you have to understand, like when it comes to this, I talk about like with fitness and health.
Yeah.
By you choosing not to address it and make it a priority, you're consciously making everything in your life harder. And this life is already hard enough as is. So why do I want to
Right.
make it harder?
You're also risking not being around for all of it.
Yep, that's right. You're making it harder. Like all
Yeah.
around, now and later, you're making it harder.
And the later might not even come
You might not
if you don't
happen.
That's morbid, but
Yeah,
dude, I told myself, dude, because I saw so many of my like people I knew in my circle, like they had one kid and all of a sudden they gained like 40, 50 pounds. Like maybe they had something going on, but it's like, bro, that cannot be me. Like to the point where I had to like quit certain things that were too time consuming.
yeah,
Like I haven't touched games since I had kids because that's just not a hobby that I can afford anymore. Like I can't afford video games as in my budget of time. You know what I mean? And I
yeah,
can't afford like just scrolling. Like I can't afford TV. I don't watch TV or movies. I wasn't really into it anyway,
yeah,
but I definitely had my shows, you know.
yeah.
But games, TVs, and movies were some of the things that I consciously let go because I wanted time for the right types of hobbies. Like I'd rather do, I'd rather work out, I'd rather do photography, I'd
Yes,
rather like be present. You know, that's I think part of the dad thing is like you have to sit down, look at all your hobbies and interests and passions. Sad, but you have to sometimes make some business decisions, right?
absolutely. I always say,
Yeah.
take the 5 most important things to you in your life.
Yeah.
You can only pick 5.
Everything else gotta go.
Everything else has to go. And you want to put, and I want you to put all your effort into making those 5 things the best they can be.
Yeah.
That's the second
What are your?
part. That's the
Yeah.
second part. Like for me, it's obviously it's God, it's family, um, you know, it's my relationship. Then you go into I love being outdoors and being in nature, right? And then fitness, like, and you'll notice that like the majority of the things that I put into, they all
It,
fall into that category.
yeah.
And I know those are the things that if I have those 5 things, or those are like the fundamental 5 things, I know if I have those in my life, like I can live a fulfilling life.
That sounds pretty damn good to me.
You see what I'm saying?
God, family, yeah, like fitness, like nature. That's beautiful. What you don't need anything else.
I don't really
Everything else
need
is just
anything. Everything else is just
you
kind
don't.
of, it's really just, so now you start to look at it like everything else is taking away time from those 5. If I'm giving
You
time
gotta
away,
be.
if I'm doing something, if I'm giving my time to something that's out of that 5, because I have limited time, I realize that means I'm taking that time away from those 5. And I can't afford that because that's my top 5.
It reminds me of like the MySpace top 8.
Yeah.
You know that?
I
Like
know
you had to pick
exactly.
your 8
No,
best
yeah,
friends.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
no, for sure.
those are your best friend, and
Yeah.
everyone else is in the other bucket.
Come on now. I have my music playing on MySpace and everything. Yeah. Yeah. 100%. Right. So it's like, what's your top 5? You have to think of 5.
I'd say I'd say my faith as well. I mean, that's what we connect on, like
Yep.
faith with God. That's everything. And then any kind of like family outing or like family vacation, like just eat, going out with family,
Quality time with the
um,
family.
quality time with family. I should be better about my relationship with my wife. I'll be honest. That's something I'll confess.
That's
Is like
okay.
I need to prioritize that.
Yeah.
I've let us being parents and us parenting our kids be priority over, you know, the me and her thing.
Well, switch it.
I need to.
Right. You guys come first, then kids.
Yeah. It's not that way right now, but
You see what I
I
mean?
need to make.
It's so
Yeah,
easy.
yeah.
It's so easy to let it be kids and then you guys.
Everyone falls for it, for that trap.
But it's a trap.
It's a trap.
It's a huge trap.
It's a trap. Yeah, because those damn kids are gonna leave us anyway. It's
Bro,
like,
it's exactly. Bro, it's a huge trap.
bro,
Plus,
yeah,
plus, how much better is it raising kids when you guys are good?
amen. Yeah. The other things for me would be like fitness, definitely not on your level. Like I'm not, lifting like you, but
Right.
like exercise is huge for
Yep.
me.
Move your body.
Exercise, the jacuzzi combo, and then something creative.
Mm-hmm.
Recently, it's been my camera,
Yeah.
but I just have to have some kind of creative outlet. It looks different year to year, but of late, it's been photography and videography.
I just came up
So
with a really dope idea because my thing
yeah,
is always about like when I get together with guys, I don't want to just get together to do nothing. I want to get together. I feel like man's purpose is to build and to create. I feel like that's when we're at our best.
yeah,
I
building
have
for sure.
a really dope idea to collaborate with you.
Let's hear it.
You're gonna do some things centered around like fatherhood, and, like, doing things
Mm.
and documenting. We're gonna create something. That's some dope ideas. We're gonna talk about this somewhere.
You always have.
I don't. I don't want to. I don't want
You
to.
know
I
what
don't
I
want to spill
you
all
know
the
what I
beans
love
on the
about you,
podcast.
Jose? You know what I love about you is there's a lot of idea guys out there.
Yeah.
A lot of guys out there who have ideas and good ideas, but very few. And I would consider myself, and I do consider you like one of the few who turn those ideas into actual. Do you know what I mean?
That's the fun part, though. It's scary at first, but then like
It's
once
the
you,
funnest.
bro, but once you like step out into it and you realize like, oh, it's actually like all that fear was in my head. Then you realize like
And
how
you're like,
fun it is, and
bro,
then you can't go back. I'm just like,
it's
bro,
so fun.
I come up with something like let's go, let's execute it, like throw it out there, let's see what happens.
Can I tell you something
If
silly?
it pivot if we have to. I don't care. Make it happen.
Yeah. I've had a YouTube channel forever, right?
Yeah.
And I thought like being a YouTuber was like the dumbest shit ever. Like honestly, I did. I was just a hater. But having kids, I'm like, dude, documentation is documenting family outings and like just our life is important to me. Very important to me.
Yes.
Like very important. It has a lot to do with like, just to be real with you, like my fear of death.
Yeah.
You know, like I know I'm good with God, so I'm not tripping about what happens after I die.
Yeah.
I just want to be alive for as long as possible because I want to experience them. You know,
Legacy.
I do. I cry about it, man. I cry about like the prospect of like not being able to see them walk the stage of graduation or like those milestones, right?
Yeah.
Like I want to be around for it. And the truth is, no one can guarantee that I will be around for that.
Yeah.
But while I am here, you know, I want to remember and I want to document. So like I have a real like a heartfelt reason of why I want to like document. So I started like vlogging and putting it on YouTube. And at first I was like, oh, this is like corny as hell, but like I just did it. I got over myself and it's so much fun. It's
I
just
love
so
that.
much fun. And I'm gonna keep doing it because like
You should.
dude, like nobody's like who cares? Like,
I was about to say, bro, who cares?
who the hell cares?
Bro,
Like,
who cares?
yeah, so
I
I'll be
don't care.
posting it
I
and
don't care about
sharing it
people's
with my
opinions.
family and stuff. What's up?
I don't care about people's opinions anymore.
Ooh, yeah, we're too
And
old for that shit.
I sound like, I know it sounds cliche, but I feel like you get to a certain age where you realize that people actually don't care about you the way you think they do. So it doesn't matter anyways.
They're not even paying attention,
But
bro.
like I'm caring about
Yeah,
people's opinions who don't have any opinions about me.
they literally have, yeah,
I'm caring about people who don't care about me.
100%. And
So what's
also,
the
life
point?
is fun when you just kind of put yourself out there and like, it's okay to laugh at yourself. It's okay to like not take yourself seriously. Like I think that's
Yeah.
why like I like nothing is serious to me. Like I can I can get over myself. Like nothing scares me basically because of that.
Yeah. You take off the mask of trying to appear a certain way
Yeah.
and then just get grounded and centered and just being like literally just being you and being authentic.
What percentage of people do you think have attained that? What you just said.
I'd probably say 5%.
Oh, 5%. Yeah.
Because I've seen a lot of people not have it. And
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of people talk about it. But then once I figured it out, I realized how many people who talk about it still don't have it.
Oh,
Because all they're doing is the very thing that they're talking about that they're not doing, which is putting on an appearance.
damn.
You see what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
I do.
there's some people who just like say things that sound good, but like you're not. And I know because I used to be that guy. I used to be the guy who like says things that sound good to appear good, and like, but I wasn't actually like I wasn't actually living it. I wanted to be that, but when it actually clicked, I was like, oh, I don't know, whatever. I'm me. What's up? Like good, bad, mistakes,
Yeah.
imperfections, flaws, and I don't
Yeah.
care what you think about it. And I'm gonna continue trying to curate my life to be what I want it to be, and this
Then
is what it
that is
is.
really that freeness is very
Yeah.
attractive. Not in like a romantic way, but just like it
No,
attracts
yeah.
good,
It attracts good energy,
good.
good people,
Yeah, it
and
does.
it's fun.
It's hella fun. I mean, just being yourself.
It's fun. I mean, that's why like when you and I met each other, that's why I was like, I wasn't trying to portray anything. You weren't trying to portray anything. We were literally just dads with our kids out on a Saturday, and it was
Yeah.
like, well, what's up? What's up?
Trying to start.
Cool. Just trying to.
Yeah.
We just had a real conversation, and then boom.
Whoa.
Now we're brothers like that.
Oof.
You know what I mean? Like that's what
You
happens
know what's funny?
when you let go.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of my friends, I want them to let go. I
Yeah.
um and they'll get there, but yeah, part of it is just like I feel like a long time ago, I because I think I commented on like a hoodie you were wearing or like a hat.
Yeah.
I think a long time ago I would have been like either too shy or too insecure to say anything. I probably just be like, oh, that guy must be a A's fan, and just like let it go, you know. But like now, the more like real version of me is like, wait, like that fool has an A's hat on. Like, is that guy from actually from Oakland? Like,
Yeah,
that's crazy. Like, I love Oakland people. Like, I want to say something to him.
yeah,
I'm gonna say something to him.
yeah,
Like, hold on, I can walk over and say, like all
yeah,
those little steps. There are a
yeah,
lot of moments where your little insecure, like bitch brain, could be like, bro, don't say anything. Like, leave him alone. Like, don't be weird. Like don't be who you want to be. But it's
yeah,
like now it's like no, like shut up. Like, just. And then what you find is that like a lot of people are pretty like interesting and fun and like down,
yeah,
like out there in the world. They're
yeah.
there.
Like
A lot of good.
if we didn't do that, we never would have met.
Yeah.
That's kind of crazy to think about, though, right? That's why, like, there's a quote that says that the greatest thing that a man can conquer is himself.
I feel
Because
like I'm
you
I'm
know
still doing that.
the battle's really here. It's not all the stuff
Yeah.
in our lives. It's really here, right? So you got like the greatest thing you can conquer is yourself. It's like every single day I'm just trying to conquer myself. That's all.
Yeah.
Like the negative thoughts, the self doubt, the fear, the overthinking, procrastination, the lack of discipline, all that, like all
Yeah.
that stuff that's in my head, and I'm trying to redirect it towards being the man that I want to be. That's it. Everything else falls in line.
And it doesn't sound like it's something that's ever like indefinitely accomplishable. Like,
No, it's not stop.
sounds like, yeah, it's something we do till,
Until I die.
yeah,
Literally until I die.
until you die.
Yeah, that's it.
I think that's a noble way to live, though.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
because it gives meaning to life, right? Like,
Are you living if you're not doing that?
no,
No. I
no,
feel like a lot of people are.
bro. I hit you with another quote.
Yeah.
Men die at 30 and then buried at 80.
Why 30? Why'd they choose that number?
I don't know, but it made me think about, like, you think about, like, I'm assuming that's the time when you stop being a dreamer,
Oof.
right? So now you're living a long death. That's all. Like, you're not actually living. You're just waiting to die.
Bro, I feel like I'm surrounded by those kind of people at work. Not to like trash talk
No,
my
no, no, no,
coworker,
no, no. You're good, bro.
but I feel like I am. Something about public education, it draws in
That's some type of people.
like, and maybe they weren't always that way.
No,
Maybe the system or whatever made them, but yeah, everyone is just
it's tough.
complaining about this or that,
The
or
system is tough.
I know.
The
I'll
system is
give it to them.
tough, right? Like,
I'll give it.
I'm sure
It's
if they
hard.
got, I'm sure if they got paid like $100,000 a year, like it would change things.
I think it would help, but yeah. I don't know. I don't know. Who knows? Because we don't,
I would,
like
you know what I mean? Like, I feel like it would, like, there's certain things that, like, there's a lot of factors that go into it.
the money would help.
It would absolutely help. You know what I
But
mean?
also,
Because when you do something, you
we
try
get
to,
we get summer breaks, winter break, spring break. We get
yeah,
all major
yeah,
holidays off. We end our work day at 3:30, 4 p.m. Like
yeah. It could be
it,
worse.
it, there's a lot of positives to point out, but
It could be worse. But then mindset though, right? Like, what do you focus on? Because you could be living the exact same life and change your mindset and live a different life from the exact same life.
from the same, everything else is the same. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the same person who's like, oh, I'm living this constant routine and mundane life. I'm like, okay, cool. Like, just learn how to be present and make meaning out of every mundane routine thing that you do. All of a sudden, quality of life increases.
Perspective, right? That's the power of it.
That's it.
That's it.
What's one thing you want to leave us with?
Honestly, grown-ups are overrated. Stay a kid. like in here, have fun, like be silly, do dumb shit, like dance, you know? When you're out with your kids or with your partner, like have fun with the little moments and not to get all like dark all of a sudden because all this shit could be over in a second.
No, for real.
So yeah, so knowing that, hey, I might as well have some fun, you know? It's like do
Yeah,
some silly shit while I'm here.
yeah.
That's how I feel. It, that's kind of how I live. So
I love that. I think my takeaway is going to be from you, which is be net positive, not net negative, and there's no such thing as
mm,
net neutral.
yeah,
That's
it's
a
true. There's
bar.
no
That's a
neutral.
bar. That's a bar.
Thanks,
That's a
bro. Thank
bar,
you.
and I love that,
No,
dude. I
appreciate it,
appreciate you for being on, and
dude.
just take your
This is
time.
fun.
No, this is what it's about. It's just those authentic conversations, man. It's just two dads just talking and having a conversation about real life shit
After hours.
after hours.
Hey, dude. Next time,
Yes.
um, y- I I know the digital works well, but like the in real life,
Oh
the
yeah,
in
it's
person
coming,
podcast go crazy,
bro. It's coming.
bro. Sip on something, you
Yes,
know,
it's coming.
and, like the types of crazy shit that you talk about. It goes off.
It's coming. It's coming.
It's
I
coming.
might have left some cigars in there.
Hell yeah.
You know what I mean? It's gonna be a vibe.
I haven't smoked a cigar in forever, bro.
Never too late.
But
I
hey,
don't
I'm
wanna be. I
down.
don't wanna be a bad influence, but
Nah, that's
I don't wanna get you in
if
trouble.
it's a once in a while thing, I'm cool with it.
Okay, cool, cool.
Yeah, yeah. I'm just yeah. I
There you
just
go.
the only thing I don't like with cigars is the next morning, the taste and how
Yeah,
it stays.
yeah.
That's the only thing
It
I don't like.
lingers a little bit.
Yeah.
Lingers a little bit.
All right, let's say. What are you up to
Good.
tomorrow?
Um, that's a good question, bro. I have a crazy work day. Crazy work day. Um,
Yeah.
so that's what I can think about. Kids are in school. Pick them up. One of my kids has gymnastics, and I'm trying to knock out another episode. Just keep
Damn, you're
grinding.
cranking them out.
Just keep
Hey, keep
grinding.
going.
That's
I'll say
all.
keep going, man.
I appreciate you,
Keep
brother.
going, man.
That's all I can
Dude,
do.
so proud of you. You inspire me, bro.
Hey, likewise. It's mutual.
1,000.
It's mutual. I subscribe to the YouTube channel.
Thank you.
For real.
Thank you. Hey, I'm a small channel right now, but just
Hey,
give me
no
a couple.
matter. I subscribe. I support my guys. Always.
There you go. Thank you for doing that.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Dude, I appreciate
All right.
it. Thanks to
Yeah,
everybody
man.
tuning in to Legacy Leaders. If you want to be part of the community, just hit the link, take our dash score quiz, and let's change generations.